Hello everybody, it's Anne from Anne's Stampin' Up. It's a beautiful day here in Simcoe, Ontario. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Ontario, and if you don't have your own demonstrator, please feel free to shop with me. You can reach me at stampsandtea@gmail.com, and my demonstrator website is stampsandtea.stampinup.net. Well, we're coming into the second week of the new annual catalogue release, and we've got another card that uses a nice new set of stamps and dies. It's called Waves of Inspiration, and I found this card on Pinterest. It's a quick and simple card. It does have two or three. I've given it two or three techniques. We're going to do some heat embossing. We're going to do some paper tearing. What else? Regular stamping and things like that. So let me just turn the camera down and I'll show you in the catalogue what we're looking at. And we're looking at this page here. This is page 101 in the new annual catalogue. And as I say, it's called Waves of Inspiration. The bundle itself is $71. And in the bundle you get the stamps and the dies. You buy the bundle, you save 10% if you buy the bundle together. You can, of course, if you wish, buy the stamps and dies separate if you want to split your purchase. But it's a lovely set. It's got a beautiful swoosh of a wave there and a pelican on some posts. 3 or 4 lovely sentiments. Okay, so that's the set we're going to use today, and we'll get started right away. Let me just put that out of the way. So first of all, let me just show you the stamp set and the dies. We have, it's called Waves of Inspiration, and lovely sentiments in there, really nice sentiments. I think they'll make a nice manly card. That's what we're going to try for today. Stamps, dies, and there's also some rhinestones called Basic Waves. Is that what they're called? Wave Basic Jewels. Wave Basic. Okay. So this was my card that I made this morning. This was my practice piece, and we're going to make it again, but we're going to use what color are we going to use now? Pacific Point. It's sort of picks up the blue here, so we are going to use Pacific Point and just make it a bit of a different card, and we'll see how we get on with it. So first of all, we're going to do some heat embossing because we need that to dry and to set, and we're going to use we've got a piece of Pacific Point. It was 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. We have a piece of crumb cake, which is 5 1/4 by 4. We have a piece of DSP, which is 5 1/4 by 4, and we're going to rip the bottom or the top off that to make it look like waves. We've got a piece of basic white for the inside, which is 5 1/4 by 4, and a scrap of basic white to stamp the pelican on. So let's get started. We can stamp the pelican first and then set him to one side. Here's the pelican on the post. And I'm stamping him in crumb cake. Right, so we'll just set that over here to one side for a second. Next, we're going to do some heat embossing on the piece of crumb cake that we have. So first of all, I need to wipe my card with my embossing buddy to make sure there's no static there. And then stamp this. And stamp it in the Versamark first, and then I'm going to stamp it in white. Looks nice, I think. Stamp it down here. Remove this up so you can see. I think that might be alright. Close up the stamp pads so we don't hit them with the heat gun. And I've got a piece of white, just copy paper here that I'm using, and I'm going to put my card on here, sprinkle my white embossing powder all over, liberally shake it off. Now I can see where I've got a couple of spots where I've picked up the edge of the stamp, so I'm just going to brush those out of the way. This is just a regular paintbrush, and I want to make sure I've got lots of embossing powder on my letters, so I'm going to shake it on just one more time and then clean it up again. There, I think that's going to do. And then I'm going to pour this right back into the little pot it came out of, just so that we don't get embossing powder blowing all over the place. You're going to have to excuse the noise for a second or two while I bring in the heat gun and get it warmed up. And then we're just going to heat this carefully. Now what will happen, it looks dull right now, but once it has melted, it will go shiny and it will look a little different. You'll be able to see in just a second. There, did you see that turn there? Lovely. And I think that's all we need to do with that. So there. So we're just going to give that a minute to set and to cool. I'll clean all this out of the way. We'll bring in the mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, because we're going to cut out the pelican. And we're going to do that now because we want to give this just a minute to dry and to cool down. So where is my pelican? Here he is. Now I've got my piece of black shelf liner again, and I have to say this little cut and emboss machine, it really does work well when it doesn't slide around on the desk, you know. So we need, whoops, plates here, and we need him. Just move this for a second. We've got plate 2, plate 3, we're putting him down. We're taking the pelican die from the dies. I'm going to line it up over the pelican and tape it down. Just hold it with some washi tape so that it doesn't slide around on the plate when we're putting it through the machine. There. I think a little piece on his head should do. And then I'm going to stagger my plates so that when you run them through the machine, it comes up over the edges of the plate and it's not too severe. Like if you had all these 3 plates together like this, that's probably a ½ an inch there. That's a lot for the rollers to roll over. So the edges of the plates are beveled, as you know. They're shaped, sort of rounded, so that when you put them through the machine, they should slide quite easily. So here we go. And when, as I say, when the machine itself doesn't slide all over my mat, oops, it really works well. Get that out of the way. Pelican. There he is. Die back on the card so we don't lose it. There. So let's get started assembling this card. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this piece back in. I have my pelican. This is basic white for the inside. This piece here, I'm going to tear some off. Okay, now I want the white to show because I think the white next to the crumb cake will show nicely. So I'm going to tear the end of this, and I'm not going to tear it very carefully. I'm just going to rip it and, you know, wiggle around, and there. Now it doesn't look anything special there now. If you don't like it, if you don't like it, you know, you can always tear extra little pieces off if you don't like, you know, you don't want sharp points on there and things like that. Okay, so it's going to be bigger than the card. Okay, so I'm going to line it up so that it's on the card, so that it is above my sentiment. It shows my sentiment nicely, and I'm happy with what I've got. I like that. So I'm going to turn this over. Excuse me. We're going to glue this down using liquid glue. Okay, doke. We're going to stick kind of high. When I say that, I don't want this glue to show under this, like out from this. Okay, so what I'm going to do to make sure I get the edges of this, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along here like that. And then I'm going to put this on here and line it up to where I want it to be. And because I've used liquid glue, I can slide it down a little bit or slide it up, whichever way I think I want to go. Make sure it's kind of straight. Doesn't matter if it's not, it's the ocean. And as I say, because it's liquid glue, I can slide it and make sure it's straight, it's where I want it to be. And I just don't want anything to catch these edges of the paper, so that's why on the back I put some glue just around the shape of the piece I had torn. So now we're left with this, which we're just going to trim off, just using the scissors. And we're going to keep that little piece because we're going to decorate the inside of the card with either that or this one, whichever we decide we like best. So let's put those to there. We're going to put this on the front of the card, and you should have about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Now I'm going to try, where is it? Here's my, yes. Oops, think we're out of glue. Yeah, we are. Let's just find something else. So we're going to line up 3 sides so that we've got about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. There. The pelican's going to go on the front. We have the white piece that's going to go on the inside. Now we can either put a straight white piece on the bottom, or we can put a torn piece. Now that's really a lot of white on white, and I don't think you're going to show it too much, see it too much, so I'm going to put this piece on the inside. I'm just going to run my fingers along the edges of this piece to make sure there's no adhesive sticking out. I'm just going to put it right along the edge. And I could have used liquid glue for this as well, so that it would slide if I needed it to. But actually I got that on there pretty good, so that's okay. There. This is going on the inside of the card. Whoops. Let's put it the right way up. Now you could, if you wanted to, put a sentiment in here. You could have stamped it first before we put it in, but I like to leave mine blank to write my own words in there. And we're going to find, so I've got a lot of dimensionals there for the pelican. I didn't really need this many, but this one I'm going to cut in half because I want to make sure I've got a piece that will support his head. Let's have a look. Can I do that? That's a bigger piece. Oh, I'm going to have to trim this some more. Oh, don't know where that went. There. Let's pull the pieces off the back. There it is. There we go, a little pelican buddy on the front, and we've got some rhinestone waves to finish this off. Looks nice. I don't like that green, I don't think. Whoops. One there. There. And really I'm not paying attention to where they're going. I know I need either 3 or 5, so we'll stick one up there. And there it is. One lovely fairly quick card. So there it is. As I say, I copied this card this morning, or I saw this card this morning on Pinterest. I didn't see a name for who created it, but if it was your card, I thank you for the inspiration. As always, if you're going to make this card, please put the angel stamp on the back, which just says all the supplies used for Stampin' Up! Supplies. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you all next week. Bye.